65 Gamer Guy here with a review of Mr. Do's Castle for the ColecoVision. This game is the sequel to Mr. Do, and it's based on an arcade game of the same name. And it's quite a bit different than Mr. Do. Instead of digging tunnels like Dig Dug, you have these blocks you have to hit with a hammer, knock them out of place. And like Mr. Do, there's different ways to finish a level. If you kill all the bad guys, that's one way to finish. If you drop all the blocks that have the cherries on them, that's another way. Or if you spell extra. Now you have these diagonal ladders that you can kind of swing out of the way so that the bad guys can't get direct access to you sometimes. And you've got these blocks that have, I don't know if they're little skulls on them or what they are, but you'll see them on either end of a set of blocks, and if you knock both of those out, it knocks all the blocks out, and if there's any bad guys stuck in the blocks or walking over them, it kills them. You also have these keys, and if you get those, I think there's 3 or 4 of them, then you have to go up to the very top of the building. There's a little plus sign that flashes, and that's how you get the monsters to turn into the letters so you can spell extra. And you have to actually hammer or drop the bad guys when they're in their letter mode to actually get the letter. You can't just touch them. As the game gets a little bit harder, when the bad guys get stuck in one of those open areas that you've knocked out, if you hit them while they're in there and knock them down to the next level, they'll change to a different color. I think they start out with green and then go to blue. Basically, they're just the different colors are a little bit harder to deal with. Now this is a pretty fun game. It's, in my opinion, it's not quite as fun as the original Mr. Do. There's not as much variation in the screens as you have on Mr. Do when you have the 10 different screens that all have different colors to them and things like that. This one just changes a little bit in the background colors on the bricks, so it doesn't have that much variation in it, except for the position of some of the ladders in different screens. It's really about the only changes to it. Now you have to be a little bit careful in the way you knock these blocks out. I'm a little bit rusty on this game, so I didn't do all that good at always leaving myself a path to get to where I wanted to go. So that's something you want to keep an eye on. When the arcade game of this came out, there was a convenience store just around the corner from where I used to live, so I used to go down there and play this game quite a bit. And from what I remember, this game looks pretty close to the arcade. I mean, it's not exact, but they did a pretty good job with it, the look and gameplay of it. A friend of mine that lived pretty close to me back then, he used to really play this game. I think he really liked it, from what I remember. I think he got started to the point where he could get some pretty high scores on the arcade version of it. 65 Gamer Guy here. Thanks for watching and happy gaming.